It is my pleasure to invite our 1st through 4th grade learners to come up and lead us in our second opening song tonight. If y'all want to come up and take your places up here. Of course, we invite you to sing along with us. If you're brave, you can do the actions with us. Just come that way. Just a little bit more. There you go.
Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim bim bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom.
Thank you very much. You can go to your seats. They will be joining us again to lead us in a prayer in just a moment. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much, and welcome everybody to our Shabbat service. I'm Rabbi Javier Carapan, and I am joined this evening by Leslie Zucker, our volunteer musicians, and our technical team. As always, a big thank you to our BOW committee for bringing us beyond our walls. And if you're interested in acting as a digital docent or learning how to run our streaming, please reach out to the office. We'll put you in contact with the BOW committee, i.e. Dave Zucker. It is a committee, but the person who is the core of it is Mr. Zucker. We also want to thank our 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade Weiner Religious School families, their teachers, and their madrichim for helping lead us tonight in song and prayer. For those of you joining us here in person, we're calling the page numbers in the square brackets. Please make sure that all your electronic devices are turned to silence or plane mode, whatever you call it, so it doesn't make any noise. All righty. I think we're ready to welcome Shabbat together, and it is our tradition to light the Shabbat candles. Those of you at home, if you had candles, we invite you to light them. For all of us here, you can follow along on page 120. That's where the blessing's at, and we join Leslie as we welcome Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של Shabbat.
We welcome Shabbat together in this prayer that we're going to sing together in just a moment. Talks about Shabbat as a bride, and we welcome the bride. And you will see that towards the end, we're going to be facing the door. And it's not that we're actually facing the door, and sometimes this is hard to see. But does everybody know where the south is here? That's south, that's north, that is east. That's not a tricky question because most arcs and synagogues are on the east side. Where does the sun set? In the west. So where is Shabbat coming from?
From the
west.
to
So
the
make sure that
east.
when we say welcome Shabbat, boy chala as a bride, we're going to be facing west. So
I
not
never
the
knew
door,
that.
but west. Now, that's how you have to imagine the sun on the other side of the building, but that's how it works. And we're going to be singing together stanzas number 1, 3, and 9. מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה ומצאים מתוך ההפכה רב לשבת בעמק הבכר והוא יכול עלייך חמלה לה 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 לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת מקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת מקבלה. Now we face west.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני ים סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה פני שבת מקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת מקבלה לה 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 לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת מקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת מקבלה.
Continue together on page 151. Oh, it's not working. Read together. Sorry. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch Ata Adonai, Ohev Amo Israel. Yes. We'd like to invite our 1st through 4th grade learners back here. There you go. את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בעם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Amen. Continue together on page 157 at the top of the page. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Now, our learners are not coming back up to the front from this one, but this is the song, this is the melody that we sing on Sunday mornings. So if you're sitting near a student, you might want to listen, and they'll help you know how to sing this song.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש. Eloheinu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom, Shalom. Ve'avideinu shomreinu echayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha.
The next words are on the slide.
Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake the morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
ושמרו
בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותיו ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותיו ברית עולם. בני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותיו ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותיו ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני
את השמיים
את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותיו ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותיו ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותיו ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותיו ברית עולם.
Adonai Eloheinu Ve'Elohei Avotenu V'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Ve'Elohei Leah El Hagadol Hagibor Ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Ve'Konei Hakol Ve'Zocher Chastei Avot Ve'Imahot U'Mevi Gula Livnei Bnehem Lema'an Shema Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye Metim Atarav Lehoshia Morit Hatal Mechalchel Chaim Bechesed Mechaye Metim Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofech Olim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Micha Mocha Bagevurot Umido Melach Melech Memitu Mechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua B'nei Manata L'Hachayot Metim Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh HaMetim Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh U'Kadoshim B'chol Yom Yahalalucha Selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
As we gather on this Shabbat together, we think of those in need of healing. Those of you joining us virtually, you can type their names on the Misheberach list on the comments on Facebook. And for those out here, you have an opportunity to mention names out loud. I'm going to start on this side.
Elmer Ravel.
To think of those in need of healing, together we join on page 371 in the words of Mi Shabbat. May the one who blessed our ancestors bring blessings of strength, compassion, and healing to those of us who struggle with the oppression of addiction, emotional distress, and mental suffering. Surround them with loving kindness, grace, companionship, and peace. It is time for our Simcha moment. We invite you to share a special Simcha from this past week. You can type those, and they could include your birthday, anniversaries, good news. If you are here, we have our Simcha mic here. We invite you to come up and stay for the blessing. And we ask that each person states their name and share the Simcha in about 1 or 2 sentences. And I'm going to look online to make sure that if there are any there, I can read them.
It's going to be a little longer than 1 or 2 sentences tonight.
Should I sit down?
No. My name is Carol, and I believe in miracles, and I'll tell you what happened. On a Thursday, the 3rd week in March, the wind was blowing, and my scarf, everybody knows my scarf, it was a rainbow scarf, and it was made for me by a friend, and I felt it blowing away from me, so I wrapped it around me, and that's the last time I saw it, until, I think this week, yes, I went to the hospital to visit Ron Zipper, and he asked me to do his laundry. And I went to do his laundry, and in the laundry bag was my scarf.
Wow. All right. That's kind of between a sorcery and a simcha. I'm not sure what to think about it, but I'm glad you got it back. How are you wearing it?
He has no idea how it got in there. It's in the closet. It's for cold weather.
Oh.
My name is Jill, and some of you may know that we had I had a grandbaby born a couple of weeks ago, and the simcha is for the first time in this little baby's life. I saw his eyes open. You know, babies, they sleep a lot, so that was joyful.
Stay up here.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Sierra Debro, and this week I had surgery on my arm, and I found out that it's not cancer. We thought it was cancer, and it is not. So that is a great mitzvah, or a great thing to celebrate.
I'm Leslie, and my simcha is having so many of our religious school families joining us tonight and helping out with services. I'm so grateful for that.
Thank you.
You have one online?
On the virtual sanctuary, Beverly Nichols has a new great-granddaughter. So I guess maybe the old one wasn't so good.
Beverly Nichols has a new great-granddaughter.
Thank you. So we are on the count of the Omer, the number of days between the second day of Pesach, Passover, until the festival of Shavuot, which also happens to be confirmation.
Woohoo!
So here, we're counting for you. And this comes from a book by Rabbi Kedar called Omer, Accounting. And today is the week of discern. To discern. Today is the 24th of Nisan, and it's the 9th day of the Omer. And this pair of wisdom comes from another book by Rabbi Rami Shapiro that you may remember. He visited us a few years ago. Rabbi Shapiro teaches, we often say the right thing and then find ourselves resenting having to do the right thing. Talk is cheap, however. Our behavior is what truly defines us. Listen carefully to your speech, say only what you mean, and do everything you say. This requires you to slow down your normal pace of communication. So often we talk just to talk. We say things for the sake of saying things. We exaggerate to make what we say more interesting. We promise things before we have determined whether or not we can fulfill the promise. Ask yourselves 3 questions before you speak. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? We count the Omer now together. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who sanctifies us with mitzvot and commands us concerning the counting of the Omer. Hayom tisha yamim she'em shavua echad u'shnei yamim la'omer. Today is 9 days, which is 1 week, and 2 days of the Omer. As we gather all our simchas, we join together in the Shehecheyanu prayer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higianu b'zman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higianu b'zman hazeh. You may go back to your seats. Thank you.
How's this for timing? I'm going to tell you a story, right? I've been interrupting you ever since you got back. I'm so sorry, but I'm going to do it anyway.
What are you going to tell us?
I subscribe to texts every day of the Omer. It reminds me to count it, and it gives me a little kind of little bit of information. And because my watch gets my text, it came through as we were counting the Omer.
Oh my goodness.
How cool is that?
That is pretty cool.
Okay, it is to me.
I thought that was a
Thank you
great
for letting me
idea.
share my story.
You are very welcome. It is wonderful to come together for Shabbat. And as a matter of fact, I remind me of a story about this gentleman who used to do Shabbat the same way every single week. He had his routines, so he would get up in the morning, then he would get ready, and then he would walk to synagogue. And one day he was walking to synagogue, And he was just enjoying, it was a beautiful day like today. He was enjoying just the nature and the people that he was seeing around. And all of a sudden, he noticed a bag of gold, which he had never noticed before. And but things got a little more interesting because the bag started to talk to him. And the bag said, "Pick me up, pick me up. If you pick me up, it could change your life. You could buy everything you ever wanted. You'll never want for anything in your life." The man said to himself, no, I can't. I need to get to synagogue. It's almost sunset. Shabbos, 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 Shabbos. He kept walking. So he made it to synagogue, and he did what all do. He met some of his friends. He laughed. He prayed a little bit, and then he finally decided to go home. And obviously, he was wondering, is the bag still going to be there? Yeah. That's not likely, right? Somebody walks by, they see a bag of gold. Somebody might have already picked it up. So he walks by, and what do you know? The bag was still there. Pick me up, pick me up. Who wouldn't want to pick me up? You silly man. You could do everything you want. You can buy everything for your family, for your friends. You could make a big donation to your synagogue. It would be wonderful. Thinks to myself, no, this is not happening. Shabbos, 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 Shabbos. He got home, and so everybody apparently was in a good mood at home, so he didn't say anything about it. They had a nice Shabbat meal, and then he went to bed. But of course, he could not stop thinking about the bag of gold, the talking bag of gold. So in the morning, he got up in the morning, and he was a very pious man. It wasn't his practice to actually handle money on Shabbat. That's why he wouldn't touch, the gold on Shabbat. So he woke up in the morning, he went to synagogue, and of course, wonder, is the bag still going to be there? Who would leave a bag of gold in the middle of the street overnight? And what do you know? The bag was still there. Pick me up, pick me up. And he says, no, I cannot do this. Shabbos, Shabbos, Shabbos. He goes to shul, and he does what we all do, goes to services, goes to kiddush, and then he walks back. And, of course, the bag's still there. Pick me up, pick me up. And the bag says, who would walk by a bag of gold so many times and not pick it up? Shabbos, 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 Shabbos. So finally, he decided, he wasn't his routine, but he decided to go one more time, So that's Shlishit, the third meal of Shabbat. There's a prayer, and then there's Havdalah. So he went, and he saw the bag cried at him, completely ignored him, Shabbos, 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 and he went to shul again. And of course, after Havdalah, he was sitting next to his good friend, so he finally had to tell someone. So he says, you're not going to believe what happened to me on the way back and forth from shul. And he told the whole story. And his friend says, I'm not sure that this is, who will walk by a bag of gold and so many times and not pick it up? So after Havdalah, his friend says, well, let's run to see if the bag was there. And they thought, by now, how could the bag be there anymore? And when they got to the place where the bag would have been, the bag was gone. The bag was gone. And the poor man was very, very disappointed. And his friend was very incredulous, really, a bag of gold, a talking bag of gold. You walk by it so many times, you never pick it up. Who does that? Why do you have that now? You have nothing left. You could have had everything. You could have made your family happy, your community wealthier. You have nothing left. And the man looked at his friend, and this time, in a good way, he said, I have one thing. Shabbos, Shabbos. What a wonderful story about our life choices. We are constantly choosing in which direction to go, how to live our lives, when to speak, and when to remain silent. Would you have picked up the bag if it meant doing something that goes against who you are, against your very essence? As we gather on this Shabbat, I invite you to consider if there are things in your life that you care about so deeply that you might even give up other opportunities just so you can hold that one thing sacred. It is important to be a person of principles, and no bag of gold, no talking bag of gold, should move us in any direction. Remember what the great American Alexander Hamilton once wrote: "Those who stand for nothing fall for everything." I would say even for a talking bag of gold. Have Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's great to see you all and have you share our Shabbat together. If you see the bag on the way home, don't pick it up. Our service continues now with the concluding prayers. Aleinu L'Shabeach is on page 586. If you're able, please stand and join us.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני
למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד. Our thoughts now turn to those who have recently departed this earth. We are observing the Shloshim period for Arnold Lee Cole, stepfather and father-in-law of Greg Raymond and Brandy Fisher, and grandfather of Shoshana and Jonathan. Susan Busman, sister and sister-in-law of Steve and Janice Katz, and aunt of Heather Katz and Emily Katz. Tani Shafran, wife of Mal Shafran, mother of Zach Shafran and Hilary Snow, grandmother of Claire, Cole, and Camille, and great-grandmother of Caton and Ron Davison, father of Todd Davison. And on this 9th yahrzeit of their tragic death here in Overland Park, we remember William Corporan, Reed Underwood, and Terry Lamano. And on this Shabbat, we remember the following yahrzeits of members of our congregation: Minnie Apple, Annabelle Butler, Marlene Zarlinski, Duana Linville Drayless, Jack Eiler, Maurice Ellis, Teresa Estrada, Fred Fairchild, Benjamin Finkelstein, Doris Flam, Dorothy Frank, Jeff Frankel, Judy Gilgore, Harold A. Hunt, Herb Eisenberg, Harold S. Penner, Phyllis Schmidt, Joseph Stark, Ashley Zack. If you're joining us on this Shabbat and you have a yahrzeit you're remembering, we invite you to share their names out loud or in your hearts. Zichronam livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. Join together on page 598 as a congregation to recite Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמה דברה חירותה וימליך מלכותה, בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי קודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל ישראל,
It's time for a few announcements.
Thank you so much again to our religious school families and our learners. Y'all, because of the way the schedules worked out, we had some Sunday school classes that we got to rehearse, and then we had Passover break, and then they just came back. They remembered all of that over Passover break to come back and lead us beautifully in services. And they will be doing it one more time, but I just wanted to let you know that, so make sure you thank them on your way out tonight. And thank you to our volunteer musicians, Howard Pittler and Warren Sickle, to our Shalom squad and ushers, Valerie Tokar and Scott Franklin, and once again to our religious school family. I was so thankful I put that on there like 3 times.
Our Shabbat celebration continues tomorrow morning with Sichat Shabbat, our Shabbat conversation in the library, and following that we have Shabbat morning worship at 10:30. They're both multi-access.
We hope you can join us this Sunday for a whole host of education. First, at 10:30 a.m. in the sanctuary, you can learn about Jewish symbols and hidden messages in the Sistine Chapel from artist and art historian Hilary Smith. And then after religious schools, just stick around and join us for our field trip to the Geniza. Those of you who RSVP'd, we're having our lunch at 12, and then we're going to head out at 12:30. If you still have items that you would like to have buried but you can't join us, you can bring them by the synagogue, and we will take them with us.
Next Friday is our next Beit Midrash. It's on carbon footprint eating. And if you haven't been to a Beit format, that includes service, Shabbat dinner, and the learning opportunity, about 30 minutes each or so. Don't hold me to that, but it's just the idea. That's the goal. But there is food, and it's all going to be, I hear, carbon
footprint friendly.
Friendly, there you go.
You know,
not free, but friendly.
We talk a lot about kashrut, and it's kind of hard in modern days for us to find meaning in, well, don't eat pork and don't eat this. So, excuse me, a lot of contemporary Jews, there's a lot of conversation around how can we reimagine kashrut, and part of that is in being very responsible to the environment. So that is why our friend is coming right around Earth Day to talk about ways that we can actually make a difference in the world. So we hope you will all come to that. And he's making challah. I happen to know him, and it's delicious. We got so much coming up, you can see here, and it is also time, believe it or not, it's almost graduation. So on May 19th, we will be recognizing our graduates. If you have a child or if you yourself are graduating from high school, college, trade school, anything like that, reach out to Sharon Altman. We're collecting your pictures and your information so that we can share that with our community.
And immediately after announcements, not after the closing song, I invite those of you who are dedicating a memorial plaque in the memorial room to exit with me and go to the memorial room, and we will do the dedication there. Everybody else will stay here and conclude the service singing and doing
Yes.
that fun part.
All right.
All righty.
So I invite our learners to come back up to help lead our closing songs. You will come up and take your places, and everybody can stand up and sing and dance with us. You know you want to. All right. We have one more. Come on up. All right, everybody. We're going to want to see your best trees, okay? Are we ready? It is a tree of life to those who will pass to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is the tree of life to those who will pass to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom. Shalom, 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 shalom. To those who trust to it, all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to those who trust to it, all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. And then, as always, the way that we end our singing sessions together, we have our Shalom Kaverim. Shalom Kaverim. Shalom Kaverim. Shalom, shalom. Le'Yisrael, Le'Yisrael. Shalom, shalom. Goodbye, my friends. Farewell, my friends. Goodbye, goodbye. Till we meet again. Till we meet again. Goodbye. Shalom. Thank you so much, singers, for leading us. Thank you, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. We will be meeting for Kiddush and Motzi. I do ask, I'm not sure how far they end into the dedication, so just in case, walk out quietly. Thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.